Okay, so moving forward. Okay. All right, so as we look at this question up here, okay, what are some organic families that we have discussed?
So if you lose your cow and you're like, oh, I still got his calf, he'll be all right. Is that what you're saying? Butane.
So what are some organic families? You're giving me specific compounds. You're still giving me specific compounds. We want the families. Alkyne is one.
Smells like chicken, looks like chicken, tastes like
Okay.
chicken.
There's two more. Okay. You want acid or organic acid? What makes more sense to you? Organic acid. Okay. Okay. Now is when you can start naming some specific compounds. Nope, those are derivatives. You were giving me specific compounds. Go ahead and nonane. Well, that's a little big. Do you want that big? Propane. Okay. Just want to keep the 3-carbon configuration consistent. Okay. So then, what would we put here? Propene. Okay. Okay. No. Propanoic acid. These are the 5 organic families that we have talked about at length this entire chapter. Now, we're just remaining consistent when we say propane and propanoic acid because they all have 3 carbons in common. So now it's you can go ahead and write the structural formula. So for propine, how do you write that? Okay, so somewhere there's a triple bond in between what? Then what?
Another carbon, just a single bond. How many don't? 1, 2, 3?
Okay.
So what's that again? What is that? Propene? Propine?
Mm-hmm. It's an alkyne.
So the Y and E is the Y and E is a triple bond.
YNE means it is a triple bond.
Then pro is propane. Okay, got it.
All right. So then, how do we draw out propene then?
There's double bond.
Okay.
I got a little.
Okay. Then propane.
Oh, they're all just one single bond.
Okay. Now, if we take that one step further and say we've got 3 carbons, 4 hydrogens. This one, we've got 3 carbons, 6 hydrogens. This one, 3 carbons and 8 hydrogens. Okay? So you can determine also what organic family you're dealing with on account of how many hydrogens are present on the compound. Okay? We will slow down a little bit then. was now. There is a special organic family that we talked about, and you did an activity over in the lab when you completed that. And it's where something smelled really good. It was like wintergreen or mint or whatever you want to refer that. Okay?
Oh, I like grape. So
And that's based off of this special organic compound. So I'm going to put that here.
It goes from rotten Cheetos to smelling like mint.
It's this, or you can write it like that. That is benzene. Okay? So this is benzene. Now, typically you would think that with this being an alkene, that you would have, of course, we've got these 6 carbons here where these lines intersect. But then how many hydrogens do you have? It's a trick. Be careful.
No, 0.
No. You've got 6 carbons.
How do you get 6 carbons?
14 hydrogens.
No, how do you get 6 hydrogens?
I bet if you look in your handout, it probably says that too. All right? So this is a special organic family because when you see this term, you think double bond, just like what you would here, and you'd have twice the number of hydrogens, but that is not the case. That's what makes this a special organic compound. And it gives off different types of fragrances or aromas. So that's why we refer to these as aromatics.
Both of those are benzene. That's how
Both of those are benzene. It's just a different way of writing it. Because specifically, I suppose you should put these hydrogens on here when you write it like that. But it's just understood when you put a ring in the center like this, you're referring to that as a benzene ring. And it's got 6 carbons and 6 hydrogens. That's exactly what it would be, is methylbenzene.
Can you write propanoic acid?
Oh, sure. I guess we stopped, didn't we? Okay. So let's go ahead with propanol. How do we write that? Still 3 carbons. But somewhere, now, that's still on carbon number 1. Propanol. Okay? And then you had requested propanoic acid. What else? Good, please.
So you have to
Thank you.
a double bond.
Well, you can count them up too. We've got, okay, so C3, yes.
Wouldn't it be 8 hydrogens?
Oh, I didn't count that one. Okay.
What, Mr. McKinney? What?
Could you write C3H8O?
You could do that too. And then finally, propanoic acid. Can I erase this bottom material? Okay.
There's this terror chick that was trying to flirt.
Now, how do you denote an organic acid on here?
What about her name?
Okay.
She just keeps snapping us and saying, you got her on Snap? Yeah. I think she wanted the purple chocolate. Yeah, but you can still make it work.
Is there only 5 hydrogens?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's that last one here. Okay. Okay. Right? That is a COOH. That is correct. Okay.
Hold up. C2H. What is that? I can't.
C2H5COOH.
Oh, cool bingo. It's weird how his mom is.
Okay.
He's not.
This is something that you've never seen before. You don't need to know this, but you could be able to tell me what this is because it has how many carbons, how many hydrogens,
Wait, which one are you doing right now?
how many hydrogens, 3, 5, gives you 8, correct? And then what about this? 1 oxygen, right? So what's the molecular formula for this? We got 3 carbons. Okay. How many hydrogens do you have?
That would have to be propol.
But it's not propanol.
No.
OH together.
This is what we call an ether. Now,
That's what I shoot my
Oh yeah.
no. But what I'm getting at is what does this and this have in common with one another? Say that again. They're isomers of one another. That is correct. So how do you know that that's an isomer? They've got the same exact what? Same molecular formula. But what's true about the structure? There's a different structure. That's right. Okay. Can we erase all of this? Okay. 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 What do we have? Okay, you're always going to do what first?
Identify the parent chain.
Identify your parent chain. And that is what?
Pentane.
Okay.
A-N-E.
Is there anything branching off of that pentane?
Methyl. Dimethyl.
Okay. What could you do to draw an isomer of this? In other words, how many carbons do we have? 5 and 2 gives you what? 7? Okay. Right?
Do you have to write the C2H?
16? Okay. So if this is 3-ethylpentane, what could we draw as an isomer? That could be what if there's 7 carbons to it? Okay? Is there a problem? You got the right idea. Sure, that's an isomer. Yes, it is. That's still an isomer. How many carbons are in your parent chain?
4.
How many carbons are in your parent chain?
7.
How many carbons are in your parent chain?
5.
1, 2, 6.
7.
How many is that?
6.
Okay. So is there anything branching off of this hexane compound? Yeah, there's a methyl group on which carbon? Yeah.
Oh, bell rings. I think I need to go to your dad's. You guys want for lunch today?
Okay.
Do you want my chicken fat?
So notice we are working backwards here, which is fine. So if you have a great understanding of this, then hopefully there won't be any problem moving forward. Okay, so what would be the simplest isomer you could draw for this?
Just add to a parent chain of 5 and add 2 or do a parent chain of 6 and add a methyl off of it. Or do a parent
What does that have for a formula?
C7H6.
Yeah, isn't that what we started with? Yeah, so all of these have one thing in common. They've got the exact same molecular formula, but they are 3 different structures. That's what an isomer is. Yes, it is, really. Okay? There are 2 alkyl derivatives that we have discussed this chapter. Okay? This is one of them. Okay? And then this is the other inside them boxes. What is the formula for this derivative? What's the formula for this one? Okay? So left outside and left middle. Good. Middle.
Why isn't the one on the bottom right in the orange 2-ethyl pentane?
Because if you do that, okay, what has a longer chain? This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you go this way, you don't get 5, you get what? That's why. You always find the longest continuous chain. Okay. Can we erase this?
Yes.
Okay.
Why'd you erase it?
Now you get ethyl.
Okay. What's the difference between these two? Okay. Find your longest chain, which is what? Okay. Is there anything branching off of that propane? Okay. Okay. What about this one? We'll start with this. Where are they located? Now, if we just had, just a second, we just had this, it would be chloral cyclopropane. But since we have 2 of them, 1, 1 dash dichloral. Yes, what? Yes.
Can't you just do 2 instead of 1, 1?
Can you just do dichloral?
No, you want to establish which one it's on. If there's only one of them, then it's fine to write chloral cyclopropane. But if you have 2 derivatives, even if they're on the same one, you need to put both numbers on there. And you want the lowest combination. And this would not change things. That would still be 1, 1, even though it's down here. You don't always start at 12 o'clock, okay? Just assign it the lowest possible number. Okay. The only difference that, how could you make this an isomer? So what do we got now? Yep, that would be correct. Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Okay. Okay, these have to be turned in tomorrow.
What?
These have to be turned in tomorrow.
What new? Oh, bonus. Bonus questions? Do you have a piece of paper I can borrow for us? What are the bonus questions? What are the bonus? Hey. Bonus mean extra. Can there be 3 bonus questions?
No.
Son, what are you drawing here? Miss Free Kitty, since you're my dad, can you sign it?
Is there any way I could get my vocab test back? Oh.
What country music singer did you lost? Morgan Wallen. Morgan Wallen.
Yeah, I do too. I'll tell you all.
In other words, she was, what was her name?
She killed herself. Oh, I remember.
Okay. And they were set to perform in Sioux Falls. Now, whether they still are going to, that's up in the air. I don't know.
Hey, that's my pencil baby.
Okay.
I just saw it on the news this morning.
Oh, hey. Yes, I tried that pencil for so long. Give me that back.
It ain't yours.
Yes, it is.
Still got some sticks of lead in it.
Yeah, because I've had it for like 3 days and then I don't know.
You just said you had it for so long.
Yeah, I just started using it.
Okay. Yeah. Jeez, I think everyone.
The mom.
Damien,
Yes.
How old was the mom?
I gave Taylor the other one to it.
Really?
I don't know.
You can ask her.
I can't go by.
I don't know how old she was.
What was the first letter for first name?
Yeah, he's going for me. He's going for me. I'll give it to you.
It ain't yours.
I don't want to do that. Because I don't know if that's spelled right. The Ryman Auditorium, that's how it's pronounced. I don't know how it's spelled. Okay, well, we can stay with that.
Mr. McKinney's finger.
Just a moment. The Ryman Auditorium. Has something to do with country music. Okay? You could say it's an opera or opera of some sort. There's a clue. Okay? So these have to be turned in tomorrow. Okay. Anything else before we stop for today? Left outside and left middle.
Give me a minute.
Okay, middle, right side. Okay, yes, go ahead. All right. We will catch up to you next time.